The next one that we're going to hear from this morning is Pam Leiter. And Pam, you can start working your way up here. Pam wrote this bio, and she says that she had looked back on her childhood years. She grew up in northern Indiana, and she spent about half of her life in church, and then a lot of the other half in the woods. But she also managed to go to school during that. So she says she's lucky and blessed to be able to blend the two things that she loves the most, people and nature, into a occupation. And she'll tell you a little about what she does. But she is works at the local nature center. Many of you might have seen her, and she gives tours to people and directs the nature center. And she said her passions are raising up others to step into who they really are and helping people experience what God is really like. So here you go. Oh, you.
Okay, all right, good, it's on. Well, for a 12-year-old girl in love with all things horses, a real, honest-to-goodness Western rodeo was my idea of paradise. And that's where we were headed next. I was on a 3-week camping trip with my family out west, and we had just left the geysers and hot springs of Yellowstone National Park. And we were headed to the rodeo next. I was so excited. On the way, we ran into a stranger who knew all about this rodeo. He'd been there for many, many years, taking his kids there, and he was telling us about all the exciting things that we were about to experience, and especially the kids' event halfway through. It's called the Calf Scramble. I think we have a picture of it. Yeah. If you've ever been to rodeo, they often have a kids' event. I don't know if they call it halftime in a rodeo or not, but it's halfway through the event. And in this particular rodeo, this is not a picture of me, I found this on Google, but they have a calf in the stall that they've tied a ribbon to its tail, and they bring all the kids down into the arena, and as soon as they're ready, they let the calf out into the arena, and all the kids chase after it. It's a fun time. The kid who gets the ribbon off the calf's tail is the one who wins the prize. So that's how that works. And this stranger that we were talking to, he said that when he took his kids there every year, they won every single time. They knew the secret to winning. And he asked us, because his kids were too old now to go to this rodeo, he asked us, do we want to know the secret to winning? We said yes. The next day, as we made our way to the grandstand where the arena was, we were enjoying ourselves. You could smell the food vendors cooking the hot dogs. You could smell the funnel cakes and the elephant ears frying in the different vendor booths, and the cotton candy makers making their cotton candy swirls. And then also the smells of the barns and of the horses that would waft through every once in a while, too. All the best things in life. If you like that smell, you know what I'm talking about. So we got our food and we made our way into the bleachers with hundreds of other people into this grandstand area overlooking the arena. Now, this arena was a lot larger than I had anticipated. It was very intimidating. I was excited to participate in the calf scramble as the stranger had described to us, but now this arena looked huge. So, halfway through the event, after we had enjoyed seeing the cowboys and the cowgirls on their bucking broncos and the cowgirls racing around the barrels. Have you ever seen how they do that with speed and dexterity and bravery? And also the rodeo clown, which I think is the bravest person of all, who, is entertaining the crowd with his antics while also distracting the bull from the cowboy who's trying to get away from him, and then he has to run every once in a while, too. I don't think I would want his job, but I think he's the bravest of them all. We enjoyed the first half of the event, and then the call for the kids' event came for the calf scramble. So this was the first decision point of my day. This arena looked huge. It looked intimidating. Would I go down into this arena and participate? I decided this was an opportunity not to miss. So I took hold of my courage and I went down the steps into the arena. There were about 30 kids of us that went down there that day, and the rodeo clown, he gathered all of us into one end of the arena near where the calf would come out of the gate. So the stage was set, everyone was ready, and this was my second decision point of the day. Would I do what the stranger had said to do? Because what he had said, the secret to winning, was the opposite of what everyone else in that arena was going to do. He said, when that calf comes bursting out of that gate and all those kids go running after it as fast as they can, you stay, you wait and rest right where you are. This made no sense. How would you win by standing still? Was the stranger joking? Was he, playing a cruel trick on me, thinking of me, that morning, thinking about that kid who's going to just stand there all by herself while everybody else runs after the prize? Well, he seemed to know what he was thinking about, so I decided I would try it. When that calf came bursting out of that gate, the rest of the 30 kids went running after that calf, and I just stayed right where I was, by myself, in front of hundreds of people, while everybody else went racing after the prize. I soon found out that even if I wanted to change my mind, I couldn't, because they were already, a good 50 yards away. I could never catch up, even if I wanted to at this point. And then that calf did exactly what the stranger said it would do. It reached the other end of that arena, made a wide turn, and started heading back straight towards me. I now had a wide-eyed calf running at full speed with 30 very determined, very sweaty, very dirty kids right behind him. What was I going to do? This is my third decision of the day. This would take a different kind of courage. What was I going to do? Looking back on that experience now, almost 30 years later, I see three very powerful ways of trusting in God. How is God inviting you to trust Him today? Is He inviting you into an arena that maybe you've been scared to step into? I like how Brené Brown says in her book, Rising Strong, because what are the arenas in our lives anyway? I think we have a slide. Yes. The arenas in our lives are the things of everyday life. Our own thoughts and emotions, our internal state. It isn't that the arena we're invited to most often. It could be a new class you want to take, volunteering to lead a team at work, parenting, being in love. The list goes on and on and on. These arenas are the things that God invites us to step into with Him in life. Or is God inviting you to rest and wait and stay? Rest in His promises and do things His way, even if it seems the opposite of what everybody else is doing. Even if it seems that everybody else is getting so much closer to the prize that you desire. Because rest is a very, very powerful thing. I like how one of my mentors says, Christine Caston, that rest is far from a passive way of living. Rest actually empowers the presence of God to move in and through us. And because I rested when it was time in that arena, that prize came close to me. And all I had to do was take 3 steps and grab onto that tail of the calf. When everybody else had to run from one end of the arena and back, and they were sweaty, it was hot. They were dusty, and some of them had actually fallen down tripped and fallen on the floor of the arena and all that dirt, and who knows what else was on the floor of that arena, if you know what I mean. So because I had rested, all I had to do was take 3 steps. I was ready for it. I was rested and able to move and grab on. And that's what I did. And I can tell you, when you grab on to the tail of a running calf, You are suddenly accelerated to a speed that you could never have run in your own strength. And I don't know how I did it, but I reached up and I grabbed that ribbon off the tail, and I had won the prize because I rested. So is God inviting you to rest in him today? Or is he inviting you to grab onto an opportunity that he has placed within reach? Maybe you only need to take a few steps to grab onto that. But it will take a different kind of courage than the other ways of trusting him. And you may find that you are accelerated faster than you could have run on your own. So, the secret to winning. And let me be clear also that I'm not talking about beating other people to the prize. Because our prize, of course, is God's heart and God's kingdom. And his kingdom is vast. His heart is huge. There's plenty enough of God's kingdom to go around. There's plenty and abundance of God's heart for each and every single one of you ladies in this room, and for everyone else out in the world also. So my prayer for you is that you go faster and further in God's heart and in the kingdom than you've ever been before. And in fact, my prayer for you is that you would go faster and further in God's heart and in his kingdom than I do. Not that I'm hanging back because I'm going for it with as much energy and strength as I can, but that you would go faster and further than me. All I ask is that you pray the same thing for each other and for me. So you know what happens? God is going to say yes to both of those prayers because he has such a generous heart. When I pray, Father, let my sister Patrice go faster and further in the kingdom and in your heart than I do, and she starts moving faster. And then she prays for me, may my sister go faster and further in God's heart and in his kingdom than I do. And then I start going faster, and she starts going faster, and I start going faster, and we both get exponential acceleration. Mm-hmm. And that's what trusting in God and trusting in each other makes possible. It's the secret to winning. Trust is a secret to winning. So how is God inviting you to trust him today? Thank you for listening.